Hi everyone, it's Top 10 Tuesday once again, at least it was 2 days ago. I'm posting this kind of late. On Tuesday I was extremely exhausted from work, and so I just kind of went to bed and didn't make a video. But I have watched a couple of videos since then, and so I still wanted to do my little list. As a follow-up to last week's theme, this week is television shows, our favorite television shows from the year 2000 up to the present. Actually, the person who I most enjoy watching right now is Shannon Ridler. She had a really great list, and she had some very specific rules for her list. Shows that she had only seen in her entirety, and shows that actually started at 2000 or after, not shows that overlapped the 2 decades, which unfortunately left Buffy the Vampire Slayer off of both lists. Me, I wasn't willing to be that strict about my list. That's why Buffy is on my list. And how could it not be? I just adore that show. It's my favorite show of all time. You can probably guess that one's like #1 on my list. I'll get to that in a minute. A couple of shows here that I would like to put on here, but can't, simply because I've only seen like a couple of episodes of them in piece. Actually, I managed to see the whole first season of Homeland, but I didn't. I canceled Showtime after that, and so I didn't see. I haven't seen the second or third seasons, but I did like that show, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. Other shows that I'm really interested in, but I haven't seen hardly any of, if anything. Recently, of course, we've had Game of Thrones and True Detective, are shows that have gotten lots and lots of attention, but I don't have HBO, so I haven't seen any of them. Haven't also seen The Sopranos. A few episodes, yes. I haven't seen Alias or Lost. Haven't seen The Shield. That would be the Michael Chiklis drama from a few years back. Breaking Bad, Battlestar Galactica. These are shows I've read a lot of really great things about and would like to see in their entirety someday when I have the time, which I don't seem to ever. I have shows that I watch on a regular basis these days, but they're not like these. They're network shows. Some of them are basic cable. And none of them have the acclaim that these other shows have, but I still enjoy them. Lately I've been watching The Blacklist in Nashville, and what else? A couple of others. Betrayal actually was a show that I enjoyed quite a bit, but it's over now. It didn't even last like an entire season. They wrapped it up pretty quickly. I think that the ratings were not all that good. Mad Men, of course, is a show that's been ongoing. I didn't watch it from the beginning, but I've been watching the last couple of years and I enjoy it. Also, I wanted to mention, of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Firefly, and Angel, a couple of Joss Whedon shows that I enjoy. And I have, actually, Firefly is one of the few television shows that I have the entirety of on disc, because there's only like 14 episodes in it, so it's not like, some monumental multi-season thing. That's the issue that I have with owning a television series. When would I rewatch it, honestly? It's like days and days of watching, not just a single film or what have you. Also, there was a show that was on a few years ago called the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and I wanted to like that show, but it was really tough because so many stupid things happened during that first season. But in the second season, things got good, and I was disappointed that it didn't last for a third season. The second season had some really good stuff happening in it. What else? A couple of animated shows I've really enjoyed. South Park, I've enjoyed a lot of that, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I didn't watch a lot of that show before the film came out, but I watched enough episodes to sort of familiarize myself with the characters and the situation before the film came out in 2007, which I loved. What a funny movie. So here's my list. Here's my top 10 list. A show that definitely overlaps decades. It started in 1992 and ended in 2006. It was on the E! Channel and was called Coming Attractions. Very simply, it was a guy sitting in front of a green screen introducing like 6 or 7 trailers per episode. It aired every single week. I tuned in every week, taped it, and saved my favorite trailers. It was such an easy way before YouTube to get all the recent movie trailers. Of course, the stupid ones they would show multiple times, and the really good ones they would only show like one time. If you missed it, you were dead. Of course, they also showed these trailers in the theater, and the E! Channel is just stupidity, personified. It's like the all advertising network. It's just basically telling you about stuff that other people are doing elsewhere. Other people have albums coming out, shows, movies, what have you. That's what the E! Channel was all about, at least in the beginning. It's got original programming as well, if you call Keeping Up with the Kardashians original programming. But as stupid as it was, I had to see those trailers, I had to tape them, I had to save the ones that I liked, and so I would watch that all the time. So that is definitely a favorite show of mine, even though the premise for it is just like, you know, whatever. Number 9, The L Word. I did have Showtime for a while, and I managed to catch a number of seasons of the show. I think I eventually saw all of them on disc. I caught up with the latter seasons when I didn't have Showtime. And there was a period when I had Showtime and then I didn't have it, and then I had it again, which is why I saw Homeland, the first season. The L Word had a really great cast, and I was very disappointed by the end of the show because it turned suddenly into a runway show. It was very, very strange, the end of that last episode. But there were a lot of characters that I liked, and I enjoyed following them through their different travails and what have you. When it comes to hour-long dramas, I almost always prefer just like straight drama to suspense, because anything that involves suspense involves some sort of timeline. And with dramas that basically just about families or about groups of people that know each other for long periods of time and don't have that life or death scenario, there's sort of this ongoing progression of relationships rather than, we've got to do this by this episode or else we're dead, which is not the case with 24, of course. 24 has, you know, deadlines every single episode. We got to get this done in 15 minutes. We got to get this done in half an hour. In 60 minutes, which means the next episode, this guy's going to come and we do this thing, we got to stop him. But I did see like the entire show just because it was fun most of the time. Dollhouse, of course, is another Joss Whedon show. I watched every episode of this when it aired. If at all possible. It was a show that had some incredible twists, really, really great turns in the plot. There was I just learned that Patton Oswalt is going to be, I guess, starring in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And he was on Dollhouse, too. One of the very best episodes of Dollhouse had him on there. The premise was really cool. A lot of people find fault with Eliza Dushku as the main character, and I don't think that she's a bad actress. She's fine, but there are a lot of people on that show that are really good. One of the guys on the show who does the multiple personality thing as some of the main characters do, he's amazing. He's just awesome. He had a tiny little role in the Avengers. I wish I could have seen more of him. And I wish Dollhouse had gone more than 2 seasons so I could just see more of him do his thing, because he was incredible. It's hard to pronounce his name. It's like Enver Goyaj or something like that. I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's great. Another HBO show, Big Love, which I managed to see all of. This is a show that I never saw when it aired. I just basically got the DVDs as they came out, rented them, and watched one season after another. The best season on this show was season 3. The patriarch on the show, basically Bill Paxton's father-in-law, was going on trial for bigamy because he ran this compound in which all the men have multiple wives, and that's like not illegal. It's illegal, of course. But one of Bill Paxton's wives basically takes a fake name and gets a job in the prosecutor's office so she can feed information to her mother so that her mother can prepare for any attacks the prosecution has. A really good season, and I like the show a lot overall. It's very interesting. Bill Paxton, of course, is this Mormon guy who is pretending to be, you know, just a regular Joe like anyone else in the Utah suburbs, but he is actually married to 3 women: Jean Triplehorn, Chloe Sevigny, and Jennifer Goodwin. I hadn't seen Jennifer Goodwin in anything before this show, but yeah, I watched the whole thing and really liked it. Really liked it a lot. Interesting idea. My number 5, this is a very big change of pace right here. It's called Space Ghost Coast to Coast. And what this is old cartoons that have been re-edited and have new dialogue dubbed over it. You've got this character who's like a superhero type. You know, he wears a mask and a costume basically, but he's been recast as an interviewer on a talk show. And they had actual people appear on this show, like Sarah Jessica Parker, for example, or other musicians, actors, what have you, like they're on a talk show, only they're being interviewed by a redubbed cartoon. And it's just one of the funniest things ever. It is so hilarious. Yeah, and plus he had his sidekicks, whatever, running the show with him, the guy in the studio and the band leader who's like this big cockroach and is really sarcastic. They all hate each other, you know, and there's all kinds of awkward pauses where people don't know what to say. What a funny show. It's one of those Adult Swim shows like Aqua Teen. So that's my number 5. Number 4, The Big Bang Theory. This is a show that I've been enjoying for the past few years quite a lot. A good friend of mine said, you ought to watch a show, The Big Bang Theory. I'm like, I don't know, sitcoms, I'm just really not into it. You know, eventually I took her advice and started watching. And of course they air reruns on TBS like 3 nights a week. And so I made sure that I was home to watch those repeats every single night because I was enjoying the show so much. What a great cast. It's really funny. A lot of very juvenile humor, and it wasn't until years after I started watching it that I finally got the double entendre of the name. I don't necessarily have a favorite person on the show, but I do like Melissa Roach a lot. I think that she's really cool and, you know, cute too. There's lots of good stuff involving Sheldon, played by Jim Parsons, and Amy Farrah who's played by Mayim Bialik from Blossom. They have a really funny relationship. And of course the main character is Leonard, who's played by Johnny Galecki, and he finally has a somewhat stable relationship with the girl of his dreams, Kaylee Cuoco, who plays Penny, their neighbor from across the hall. Good for Sheldon, good for Sheldon. Is it? No, that's Leonard. Sheldon is Jim Parsons' character. Sorry about that. You know, I'm not like, I didn't start watching it from the beginning, but I've seen a lot of repeats, so I'm sort of caught up by now. Number 3, In the Flesh. In the Flesh was a BBC miniseries that was only 3 episodes long. It ran last year. And I'm telling you right now, if this had been a film, it would have definitely made my top 10 of the year. This was an incredible show. One of the best pieces of writing ever. It's about basically a world in which they've basically had a zombie attack, but they've solved the problem by connecting neurons in the brain again. And so, although these people are still technically not alive, they are able to function like a person as long as they suppress their brain-eating urges. So the show is about these people being assimilated back into their own neighborhoods. And of course, there's lots of living, breathing humans that don't want these people around. It takes place in England, of course, and it deals a lot with basically prejudice against these people. They call them like formerly deceased people, something like that, some politically correct term. So some of the main characters are former zombies who now are basically trying to, you know, integrate themselves back into their neighborhoods again and their families and everything. And some of them are not. Some of them are, you know, living people who don't want them there or who do, depending. What a great piece of writing. Again, it's like a mini-series, only 3 episodes long. I don't know if there's going to be a follow-up or anything like that, but terrific show. And I wish it could go on for a long time, but it's kind of perfect as it is, so maybe they should just leave it alone. I don't know. My number 2 favorite show from this new century is called Smith. And Smith they only made 7 episodes of this show. Basically, if you took the character that Robert De Niro played in Heat, a professional thief, and his crew, and built a show around them as the main characters, that would be Smith. Ray Liotta was the main character. He and his crew, basically, they pull jobs. They get, there's an actress named Shoresh Aghdashloo, who's an Iranian actress. She's been on 24. She's been in The House of Sand and Fog with Ben Kingsley and Jennifer Connelly. And she was basically like the one who gives them their work. And so each episode they pull a new job, but they also have difficulties with their own families and relationships. Ray Liotta's married to Virginia Madsen, and she's aware of his past, but not his criminal present. One of the first things that happens in the episode is that she says goodbye to him as he's off to work. She says, stay out of trouble. And he's like, always. But of course, he's got this whole extra life. This show only aired 4 episodes, and they had another 3 of them afterwards that were available online for you to watch, but it got canceled pretty quickly, which is a real shame because I really thought the show was awesome. Another show that I thought was really good, but I only got to see the first few episodes of, was Damages. They had like 3 seasons, I think. The first season of Damages was really cool. Just an amazing idea for a series. And I think Hannibal actually has done a similar thing with their current season. Involving flash forwards to something that happens at the end of the season. Anyway, it's obviously Hannibal and Damages are not on my list, but Smith is one that I'm just like, oh, really like the show, really wish it had gone on longer. And of course my number one is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which started in 1997, but I didn't start watching it until the fourth season, which was in the year 2000, when they had an episode called Hush, in which the entire cast was rendered mute for the entire episode, and from then on, I just was like totally hooked on this show, man. I had to be home to see it on Tuesday every single night. Every single new episode that aired, had to see right away. I was just waiting all week long for the show to come on. And it's been over for over 10 years now. It ended in 2003, which is amazing, but it's still like, a show that I hold very, very fondly. Got really emotionally involved. There were a couple of episodes where something so sad happened that I actually cried myself to sleep. This is a television show. I mean, this is unheard of. Most movies don't even make me cry. But yeah, I have a lot of my favorite episodes of Buffy on tape. I save them. Some of the coolest concepts or just some of the best twists, what have you. Yeah, especially like those last couple seasons, 6 and 7. I have lots of episodes of those seasons on tape. And yeah, I always love Buffy, and I've been reading the comics, of course, as well, and really like them as well. It's just great to still have those characters involved culturally in some way. So yeah, there's my list, and I'll include links to other people's Top 10 Tuesdays. I haven't really seen many of them, but however many I find, I'll include in the description below so you can take a look at what they're doing. And check out Shannon's video too, because it's really great. I just love to hear her laugh. At the very end of the video, she does a great laugh, and I really like that a lot. Here's to you, Shannon. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and of course, I need to give a shout out to the three principal guys who do this thing every week, which is the Joker 5150, Movie Collector 666, and DVD Collector 1974. Great work, guys. And next week is a theme that's really for hardcore collectors, so I'm going to skip it. Sorry. But I'll be watching. Take it easy.